every time I get asked, I have to come up with something. But I've finally gotten to the point where I've just decided that if I've had the embarrassing moment once, I'm probably not going to want to relive it. So I'll keep the embarrassing moments to myself. Do you like unicorns? Heck yeah, I do. Who doesn't like unicorns? Would you ever come to Russia if you had the opportunity? Absolutely. I've always wanted to go to Russia. I think that would be one of the places, if I did do kind of that sort of world tour thing, that would be one of the places that I would definitely want to go to. I don't know where in Russia, but I would have to ask you guys and find out where the most of you are. I just realized I haven't gone into the social stream at all. That is my bad. I've been on the chat this whole time. I apologize. But there's no way to slow this down, so it's moving so fast I can't even read anything. Shout out to Jillian. Hi, Jillian. Thanks for watching. And Kendall. Can you bake? Hey, Danny Warp. I can, actually. It's kind of one of the few things that I can do. The one thing that I can really make well from scratch is chocolate chip cookies. And I'm not going to try to toot my own horn here, but they're probably the best chocolate chip cookies you've ever had in your entire life. So, one of these days, I wish there was a way to send a chocolate chip cookie to all of you guys, but sadly, I don't think there's a way to do that. I apologize. Say hi to me. Hi to you! I didn't see your name, but hello. I wish there was a way, because in chat you can do the slow chat thing, but on social stream I don't think there's any way to slow it down. Shout out to me. Shout out to you! Hello! Are you and Shay Carl going to make a video together? Actually, we've talked about it. There was actually one time where he did ask if I wanted to do a video with him, and unfortunately I was either out of the state or out of the country at the time that he was going to be shooting it, so I wasn't able to, and I was super bummed about it because I watched the video later, and it was extremely funny. It was the roller derby car racing down the hill, and Baby Tard shot that guy like right at the end or something, and it was really funny, and I could have been in that, but unfortunately I wasn't able to. But I would love to work with him in the future if he does more stuff out here. That would be pretty awesome. Have you ever been to Alaska? I haven't, but I would love to. Alaska is extremely beautiful, and if there was any way that I could go up and visit, that would be super cool. I don't know if there's anybody who would be willing to put on an autograph signing, but if they did, I would totally go. That'd be pretty awesome. You like to play Mario Bros? Yeah, I do, actually. I got a 3DS from Nintendo, and they gave me Super Mario Brothers 2. And I actually just finished it a couple weeks ago. It took me a while to get into it, but I did complete it, finally. That's my first time ever defeating Bowser, which, believe it or not, well, no, okay. When I played on the Game Boy, I don't even know, half you guys probably aren't even old enough to know what this is. The Game Boy was the first handheld gaming device that I ever had. And the first game that I played on it was Super Mario Brothers. And back then, it wasn't even Bowser, it was Wario. So the first boss that I ever defeated was Wario, but this just then that I completed 2 weeks ago was my first time ever beating Bowser, which is kind of embarrassing. For a self-proclaimed gamer, the fact that it's taken me 20 years to defeat Bowser is pretty ridiculous. Yes, Game Boy Color. I had the lime green looking one with that super sweet attachment where you could put on a mirror and it would make the screen look bigger, or a magnifying glass because it would make the screen look bigger, and so you could look at it and it would look like it was twice as big. And then there was a light bulb built into it so that you could play it at night, because back then they weren't even backlit, which is so bad. I can't believe I'm dating myself by saying that I had a Game Boy, but now everybody's all PSP and DS and everything, all this stinking fancy stuff. Do you like Pokemon? I actually never really got into Pokemon. Uh, that was something that just kind of flew over my head. Um, I think when I was that age, Star Wars pretty much took over my entire life. So I never really focused too much on really much of anything else. Let's see. Autograph signing in Virginia. I would love to. That would be super awesome. I haven't been invited there yet, but when I do, I can't see any reason to not go. Hi, Barbara from Brazil, and Megan Melton, and Sharon. Did you used to play Club Penguin? I actually did a long time ago when it very first came out. I doubt if I even tried to sign into it, it would still. I mean, I don't know what my username was or anything, so I probably couldn't get back into it. But I was super addicted for about a month, and then I stopped playing. I don't know if any of you guys ever got into it, but VMK, the Virtual Magic Kingdom, where you could like make a character and go to virtual Disneyland, that was my favorite thing in the world when I was 12 and 13. That I would do it every spare minute of every day. And then I found out that it was like just a temporary game that they were doing for a few years, and then they cut it off, and I was very depressed after that happened. But I don't know if any of you guys played the Yeah! A couple people played it. Yeah, BMK was like my favorite thing. I tried to get into it right after that. They did the Pirates of the Caribbean game, and I started that for a couple weeks, and then I just kind of lost it because everybody started leveling up and spending money on it, and I'm super cheap, so I would never spend money. What phone do you have? I have the HTC 8X, the Windows phone, which is super awesome, except for the fact that they don't have critical apps like Pandora and Instagram. If they did, it would be pretty much perfect, but it's still pretty awesome, even without it. Favorite Disney character? That's tough, but lately I've been a little bit more hooked on Belle. I think she's my favorite princess. Hello, England. Hi. And Joseph and Kathleen. And Sam from Pennsylvania. And Andre. And Allie. And Emma. What's your favorite dream car? Well, I kind of bought my dream car a couple years ago. I've always loved Camaros. Those have always been my favorite car. And so right when the first ones came out in 2009, 2010, I was able to get one. And then after that, in subsequent years, they've obviously improved on them and released better ones. So at some point, I might have to get rid of my very first one several years from now and maybe get one of the newer ones. But until then, I currently have my dream car, which I'm very happy to say. Did you watch Django? I didn't. I intend to, because I love Tarantino and I love Inglourious, so I thoroughly intend to watch it because it does look really awesome. Do you develop your own situation? No, I do not. I'm going to pass on the situation. Who's your favorite actor? I think one of my favorites is probably Denzel Washington. He's always been somebody that I've really looked up to, both in his career and in his personal life. He's just a really awesome stand-up guy. So if I ever got the chance to work with him, I think that would probably be kind of the end-all be-all of my career. Do you like Harry Potter? Actually, Harry Potter was another one of those things that I never really got into. But on the other hand, I was and still am super into Lord of the Rings. So there's a lot of people who like them both, but then I feel like more often there's like the two divisions, either Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, and I kind of landed more on the Lord of the Rings side. Hi, Leslie from Mexico. Have I ever been to New York? Actually, yeah. It took me forever to go to New York for the first time. I just went, like, I think about a year ago, for the first time. And you'd think, as an actor, you're either based in New York or LA. And everybody usually goes back and forth, and I just never got the opportunity. But then once I started going, then I started going a whole lot more often. So I've been several times, and I love it there. The first time I went, I really didn't like it very much. I felt really suffocated and scared all the time that I was going to get run over by a taxi or something. But I've gotten a little bit more comfortable with it in subsequent trips. Hitomi from San Francisco. Oh no. Well, I hope your wisdom teeth start feeling better. I had to have mine taken out, I think either 1 or 2 Thanksgivings ago. And it was so perfect. Of course it had to be right before Thanksgiving, like the eating holiday of America. And so I got lucky. For some reason, normally when you have all 4 taken out, you're super swollen and you can't like talk or eat or anything for a long time. I lucked out and I was actually able to have most of the Thanksgiving stuff, even though I had my teeth taken out like 4 days before. So I kind of lucked out a little bit, but I hope you feel better. Lots of ice and ice cream. Good combination. My favorite Lord of the Rings character. That's tough. I think okay, let's break it down. My favorite Hobbit is Pippin. My favorite dwarf is Dwalin. My favorite elf is Haldir. And my favorite man is Faramir. I kind of like, it's the same thing as music. Like, I don't always like the most important, central characters. I kind of like the ones who are generally a little bit more kind of in the side stories. And I don't really know why, but, because you don't really see that much of them, but I think they're all pretty awesome. Aragorn, yeah, nothing at all against Aragorn or any of the other characters, because they're all ridiculously awesome, but I just think Faramir is pretty cool. And I feel bad for him whenever I watch Lord of the Rings. He has it pretty bad. Favorite subject in school? Well, when I was in school, I was really into history, especially into colonial history. That was definitely one of the things that I was the most interested in. So that I would say that's probably one of my favorite subjects. That or biology, because I loved human and animal anatomy and just learning how everything works. That was super interesting to me. Did you read The Hobbit? Yes, actually, that's the only Lord of the Rings book that I ever read all the way through. And even then, I don't really remember too much of it because I read it when I was pretty young. But I got through the middle of the Council of Elrond in the Fellowship and just couldn't take it anymore because it was so long. And I got to Fangorn Forest in the Two Towers, and I couldn't do that one either. And I never even started Return of the King because I knew that I would just get halfway through and not be able to finish it. So one of my life goals at some point is to sit down and read all 4 of them. However long it takes, I'm going to do it, and I'm actually going to understand it. Because that's the thing, I don't really remember hardly any of it. So I am going to go ahead and read all of them at some point. It's on my bucket list. Yay for life goals, indeed. Would you rather get a tattoo or a piercing? Honestly, I probably wouldn't get either. If I had to choose between 2, I'd probably get a tattoo, and I have no idea what it would be or where I would put it. But I think piercings on guys are something that a very select group of guys can do.